assists, shots, and saves. So that's something that if LCT is feeling it, again, one of the marquee players on this roster, you really struggled to see a way in for a lot of these teams that haven't quite broken into the top of the APAC South board. So for the Gladiators right now, if a player like LCT can remain on form, you know, that kind of does a little bit of work as well to quell the doubts that some people have about this roster and the synergy that they have, which again, you know, I don't mean to sound like someone who's incredibly cocky on this Gladiators squad, but when you add a player like Abs Crazy, despite the fact that you are still winning events with the former roster playing, like you're not talking about a downgrade here, or perhaps even really a sideways move. I feel like adding a player like Abs Crazy can only elevate this squad, because you can tell they have contention for the World Championship in the back of their mind, and they will take whatever step necessary in order to make that more of a reality.
Yeah, if anything, it's a reassurance onto Abs Crazy. They're like, hey, we recognize the talent that you were able to bring. I think it was to, at the time, and now to their newest acquisition squad, 1620 Kings, that, hey, you were pretty good against us. We don't want to fight against you as an opponent. We want you to be on our squad, and we want to be able to utilize those mechanics and that stalwart want for competition to make us successful. So I like it whenever these rosters make these larger moves, because you keep your main set, but you understand that you want to make an even more perfect play style for just your team to feel comfortable about. And you know, going to the spring spot where these guys have really done no wrong, especially through the previous two. It's laid out pretty well, but this is a lot of early pressure that we've seen out of Origin, some of the best that they have to be able to get points upon to be able to get this better lead.
Yeah, but they're still letting these looks through the middle of the field very early on. You can see the backboard there, and LCT is just so fast to this ball, so the pressure is immediately flipped on its head. It's something that you have to make sure that you don't let the Gladiators take if you're Origin. I mean, obviously, we love it if the Gladiators take it, but you don't want to give up that midfield immediately. You want to try and force your opponents always through the corners, through the sides, so that you have an easier time clearing it away before it gets centered up in front of the net. But just as you say, you know, the pressure that starts off, we do get the inverse here. Abs Crazy with a little bit of a carry as well. LCT's up for this, and opportunities abound for the Gladiators. They continue to go. What a near double tap there. Great read from Max, unfortunately just wide.
This is good news for Origin. They started off early, and they had all the extra opportunities, but they haven't been scored on just yet, and especially with 2 minutes already burned off the clock, you're feeling a lot better about yourself. Like, okay, we haven't let anything through, but eventually it would break, as Max will be able to push through, find a nice tap for himself, and what a pass by Abs Crazy.
Oh my goodness, look at the plane that ball stays on the entire way from the middle of the field all the way to in front of the goal. It's essentially as flat as a piece of paper, the line that stayed on horizontally, and that's honestly really impressive because it forces the defense to come meet the challenge up top. They waste the resources just trying to find it, but when you're finding touches like that, there's not really much you can do in the way of clearing it aside, because you've already got to spend so much just to get up in the air. To find a powerful enough touch to break up Max and Abs Crazy's chain in between each other is a tall task for any team, as Abs Crazy tries to open up another one, and LCT takes it. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's free real estate, and it's all in the sky. It says it's basically like living with the Jetsons, as you have to go up there and try and take away any property, but before you can, it's a flash sale, and it's changed over to LCT's hands. He takes a nice strike. They have to be able to meet those challenges at the apex, the peak of them, or else you're just going to get free looks.
And another one comes here. Max just unable to find the read out of the corner. Tough one to make with the bounce coming down, I believe, up towards the top of the ceiling. But we're halfway through game number 2, and still only 1 goal in the entire series for Origin. So not quite liking their chances here against the 6 that they've been scored on here, as Abs Crazy pushing up. You can see LTT maintaining the pressure. What a boomer as well to the back wall. It's so crucial what the second person in rotation is doing here, especially with this team where there's seems to be such an idea that Gladiators are going to rely on this solo carry to initiate, and then everybody just follows up. The faster that the second person in rotation is to the ball is, my goodness, Max putting in so much work here. It's going to be a crucial difference maker here to establish the pressure, keep it going. Abs Crazy wants this one underneath the defense. You got to respect the creativity, but it doesn't result in a goal just yet.
It doesn't, and you have now Origin at least looking to get some kind of win, touch on it. That one will end up falling wide, but you were talking about that second man pressure. That's the trust that you you have in your teammates. What a little handoff by Abs Crazy to be able to get it just still moving forward between himself and Max. LCT seems to be that guy that's like a rogue. He's looking for the critical strike and looking to be able to just stab in the back of Origin Gaming as they're cut off guard. That's a big boomer away. It will fall fairly wide of the post, but as we're approaching this last minute into game number 2, it's within reach, but Origin has surrendered a third. Every single time I start to praise their defense for keeping the Gladiators at bay, they just kind of come in hot.
Yeah, you want to talk about being within reach, but Abs Crazy making the incredibly extended reach to get that dunk over the top. I mean, listen, in play like this, when you're talking about an RLCS main event, no matter what region you're in, I keep seeing this at every level of Rocket League play. Slow play in the defensive zone. You obviously want to get that dribble and carry along your goal line because it gives you control. You're able to, you know, at some places you can decide where this ball is heading, through the corner, through the sidewall, try and get something going. But if you're going to play against a squad as aggressive as the Gaimin Gladiators here, who are always going to be breathing down your neck when you're in your own defensive half, you really can't afford to be making those dribbles and carries on the goal line, because a player like Abs Crazy is absolutely going to take every opportunity he can get to run it down and get that dunk over.
That's his bread and butter. That's exactly where he lives all the time. That's his house, and he's going to make sure that you do not stay there for rent-free. But Abs Crazy actually lose it over to Deluxe, looking to get any kind of individual win, any kind of momentum for Origin Gaming, looking into this very near coming game number 3, which could be another sweep. Gaimin Gladiators, they brought the sword, they brought the board, they're bringing more. This will be one more. It's an exclamation point by Max, and the Gladiators have scored again.
Yeah, this is pure confidence right now from the Gladiators. Again, you see the struggles from Origin to try and get something initiated because they don't really know how they want to push in the offensive zone. Deluxe Wiz did a pretty good job with low boosts and just tried to play it slow on the dribble, forced a lot of early challenges, which if you're Origin, sure, maybe you prey on the over-aggression from the Gladiators and try and get something to go in your favor just by playing the unexpected, but obviously you should be expecting the unexpected on the other side of the ball here, because the Gaimin Gladiators have made very quick work, an 8-1 goal differential over the first 2 games of the series. And again, this is a best of 5, so we're already on to triple match point here in the upper quarters.
If anyone doesn't know yet how this new wonderful evolved scoreboard is ordered, it's by the score. So from top to bottom of the score, 470, 452, 420, and on down. We're just lucky that this time around it looked like even enough for us. But Gladiators, I mean, the score is as thus. They had the 8 shots to 3. They didn't quite triplicate the offensive attempts from Origin Gaming, but more than double. And more than have quadrupled our impressions of them to be able to just be that much more successful heading into game number 3. It feels like a sweep is incoming, and you know, these are these early rounds. Round number 1, round number 2, it really kind of sorts out the chaff, and you're able to find the beyond the fat, what is the good prime meat of the competition. And of course, Gladiators stand alone at the top.
And this is what's interesting about the scoreboard itself. It's a little sad, honestly, that Abs Crazy didn't manage to get double the points of the top scorer on the side of Origin. That would have been pretty nice. But I think what that suggests to me, the lower shot count, but still able to win that game convincingly, is clinicality here from Gaimin Gladiators. And what I mean by that is efficiency in shooting percentage, making sure that most of your shots are ending up threatening enough that they either are goals or very close to becoming goals. And the fact that they kept a clean sheet as well against Origin Gaming here in game 2, we go back to that point about this roster being consistent. Deluxe Wiz and Dizzo have stood strong by